I didn't, because my kid's supposed to be on it, but I don't see him out there.
Well, Michelle said if you go with Drew, can you with Rob?
I don't know. Michelle.
I'd like to call the Butte-Silver Bowl Council of Commissioners special meeting for Wednesday, June 14th, 2023 to order. Have roll call.
12 present, 0 absent.
12 present, 0 absent. 0 absent. Commissioner Sorge, could you lead us in the prayer and the pledge?
Mr. Chief Executive, fellow commissioners, Almighty God, we implore you, look upon us and guide us this night as we make decisions which will greatly affect our community of Butte-Silver Bowl. Direct our thoughts, words, and deeds so that we please you and best serve our fellow citizens. Amen.
Amen. Okay, recuse on which one? Okay. Okay. Do I do that now or do I do, okay. Okay. Next, we'll open up for any public comment on any item on the agenda tonight. If you want to speak on anything on the agenda tonight, please come forward, state your name, address, and the topic you'll be talking about. Seeing none? Okay, okay. Oh, okay, Mr. Powers, yes, please come forward. So if you push the button on it'll light up. There you go.
Red, thank you. My name is Tom Powers. I am the clerk of the district court. Chief Executive Gallagher, Chairman Frederickson, ladies and gentlemen. First, I beg your indulgences if I violate your time limits or other protocols. It's on me. For those of you fortunate enough to not know me, I am Tom Powers, your current clerk of the district court for Silver Bow County. To begin, I'd like to say that it has been my privilege to serve the Butte-Silver Bow government for the last nearly 3 decades, three dozen years. I've been here 35 and a half, but who's counting? It's also been my distinct honor to have been chosen by the electorate in Silver Bow County to choose me as their elected clerk of the district court. I did not make my decision to leave my office prior to the end of my term impetuously, but after much consideration, I concluded that it would be most beneficial for me personally and for the operations of the clerk's office. Personally, it gives me the opportunity to retire when I'm still in relatively good health. And institutionally, it affords you the opportunity to appoint a successor who will continue this clerk's office. This office's long tradition of exemplary service to the citizens of Butte-Silver Bow and the legal community, and to provide a smooth transition for the administration of the district court. With that said, I'm here to recommend without qualification that you choose Chief Deputy Clerk Beth Parks to succeed me as clerk of the district court. Referring to the letter I had provided to you earlier, I reiterate that the best decision that I've made during my tenure since taking this office was to hire Beth Parks as the Chief Deputy. Her previous experience in the legal field and her 6 years experience in the clerk's office makes her the ideal candidate for promotion to the office of clerk. Beth knows what we do, how we do it, and most importantly, why we do it. After making my decision to retire, I had two priorities I wanted to complete before leaving office at the end of this month. The first was to transfer our office bank accounts to align more closely with the Treasurer's Office and Butte-Silver Bow government generally. The other was to implement a program with a third-party contractor to manage our district court juries. Coincidentally, both of those came to fruition just yesterday, and Beth did essentially all the work, coordinating with Treasurer Lori Patrick and bank personnel, and with the Montana office, the Office of the Montana Supreme Court Administrator, and the contractor to make all of that happen. I handed it over to Beth, and she did it. Finally, current events surrounding the elections in Cascade County provide a cautionary tale about what can happen when someone with no experience assumes an office similar to this. In conclusion, I recommend without reservation that you appoint Beth Parks as Silver Bow County District Clerk of District Court. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Powers, and thank you for your service to our community as well. With that, I will, is there any other public comment before we start tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on. I'll call for the special meeting. J.P. Gallagher, Chief Executive, is calling for a special meeting of the Butte-Silver Bow Council of Commissioners for Wednesday, June 14, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. in the council chambers for the purpose of filling the vacancy for the clerk of the district court. We have one communication number 2023-311, Sean Fredrickson, Commissioner for District Number 1, informing the Council of Commissioners that he is calling for a special meeting for Wednesday, June 14th, 2023, preceding the Committee of the Whole meeting for the purpose of conducting interviews and selecting a candidate to fill the vacancy of the Clerk of District Court. Please refer to communication number 2023-310 for additional information. So at this time, I'm going to turn this meeting over to Chairman Fredrickson.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Thank you, Commissioners. This is my first time. We've all gone through a few of these, but bear with me on this as it's my first one filling a vacancy. Question, Commissioner Sorich.
Thank you, Mr. Fredrickson. I just want to say that my son Jake is going to be one of the interviewees, so I asked to be recused from any kind of voting or any kind of participation of this election.
Okay, Commissioner Shea.
At this time, I'll make a motion to allow Commissioner Sorge to recuse himself from these proceedings.
We have a motion and a second to excuse Commissioner Sorge from the interview process. Clerk, or can I just do a voice? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Commissioner Sorge. So I'm just going to go through the process on how we're going to do this. We have quite a few candidates, and we're going to go through alphabetical order. And we have 3 questions. All 3 questions are the same. And I would ask that if you are a candidate, that you would go out to council chambers, and we will call you in. Once you interview, you're more than welcome to stay in council chambers, or you can leave and we'll let you know. It's completely up to you. So at this time, I will ask everyone, with our first candidate being Brianna Lean Clark. Yeah, is there anyone out there, Barb? Okay. Second call for Brianna Lean Clark. Okay, we'll move on to the next candidate. Rob Cox. All right. Thank you for applying. Yes. I guess state your name and address for the record so we
Sure, my
know
name
who
is-
you are.
My name's Rob Cox. I live at 2809 State Street.
Okay, thank you. So first question for you, Mr. Cox. Please describe what makes you the best and most qualified candidate for this position.
Okay. For the last 12 years.
And sorry, just
I'm
hold
sorry.
up. Is the speaker on outside, Jason? No, we don't want it on. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries.
We'd be no point in having them out there if they can hear what you're saying.
Okay, I think most of you know me from being in the entertainment industry, and I do a lot of videography. And one of the things that I've been doing for the last, it's a little over a decade, is I work for the State Supreme Court Court Services Division, and I do the training sessions for the courts of limited jurisdiction. So I've been to about 25 of those training sessions, recorded them, and then relived them, and I do a lot of work with them. Over the course of that time, I've had courses in rules of evidence, civil procedure, court procedure, and the various, like the other things that they do at those conferences is talk about problems with the courts, how the courts of limited jurisdiction deal with district courts. There's a lot of interplay between those two. And over the course of that time, I've known a lot of judges that have left the courts of limited jurisdiction and gone on to the district court. I've participated in 2 of the district court conferences, and then as well as that, the drug court conferences started by Mary Jane Nicely out of Billings. So I've been working with the court system for roughly 12 years, pretty intimately, and I know most of the judiciary across the state. So I feel like I'm walking around with a lot of knowledge that I didn't go asking for, and I'd like somewhere to put it, and this seemed like an appropriate place to put that knowledge.
Okay. Second question, what would you like to accomplish if you are selected for this position?
I have a propensity for streamlining processes, and the biggest strengths that I've had in any position that I've held has been finding ways to make things more efficient and more economical. And I also know from the experiences that I've had with the courts of limited jurisdiction that Montana has an overabundance of pro se litigants, people that end up in district court that can't afford an attorney and are trying to help themselves. And we've done numerous classes on the resources that are available for pro se litigants. And while as an officer of the court, you're not allowed to give legal advice or anything along that nature, I do know where all of those resources are, and I have the ability to talk. I could sit down with a group of district court judges and have a legal discussion, but I could also talk to a bunch of lay people that have never been in a courtroom before and deliver that same information without the jargon. So I feel like I would be a good vessel between the court and the public, particularly in those instances.
Okay. And final question, do you have any conflicts which would preclude you from assuming this position immediately?
I do
And when we
not.
say immediately, it would be in July.
Yeah, I don't. I would have a job offer coming up then around that time, but obviously I would turn that down if this was on the table.
Okay. Great, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, next interview is with Rita Jean Freeborn. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Rita Jane Freeborn, 122 Laurel Road, Butte, Montana.
All right. First question, please describe what makes you the best and most qualified candidate for this position.
I think I have extensive experience in communication, customer service, organization skills, computer skills, and just being a leader.
Okay. Second question, what would you like to accomplish if you are selected for this position?
I think just making sure that all policies and procedures are followed, that communication is open at all times, that I am a team player between all of the people that work within the organization, and making sure that all of the documents that are processed, that are available to people, are secure and only going out to appropriate people that are requesting them.
Okay. And third and final question, do you have any conflicts which would preclude you from assuming this position immediately?
I do not.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next interviewee is Tasha Hayden. Second call for Tasha Hayden. Okay. Moving along, Cassidy Johnson. Yeah, hi. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Cassidy Johnson. My address is 530 Edison, Butte, Montana.
Okay. First question is, please describe what makes you the best and most qualified candidate for this position.
Okay, I worked in mental health, and in mental health, we had patients who would go into court hearings, and I'd help with the legal paperwork. And then right now, I work as a medical assistant, and I'm good with documents, clerical work, anything to do with phone calls, anything like that.
Okay. Second question, what would you like to accomplish if you are selected for this position?
I think it's a great opportunity, and I would love the experience to have. I'm a big fan of law, and anything like that would be amazing for me.
Okay. Okay. Third and final question, do you have any conflicts which would preclude you from assuming this position immediately?
I do not.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Next candidate is Kristen Lacombe. Lacombe, sorry. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Kristen Lacombe, and I live at 3050 Josephine Street.
Okay. First question is, please describe what makes you the best and most qualified candidate for this position.
Well, I've spent lots of time up here at the courthouse dealing with different things, and I'm highly organized, and I love paperwork. Love it.
Okay. Right. What would you like to accomplish if you are selected for this position?
Just to make things better, more organized maybe, if that's needing to be done. Just to be more part of my community than I've been, and to be a member of the courthouse up here.
Okay. And do you have any conflicts which would preclude you from assuming this position immediately?
Nope, not that I know of.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next interviewee is Richard Morenz. Hi, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Richard John Morenz, 2426 Moulton Street.
Okay. First question, please describe what makes you the best and most qualified candidate for this position.
I have a great attention to detail. I love an organized workspace.
Okay. And what would you like to accomplish if you are selected for this position?
I just believe it would be a good job, meet a lot of new people, and provide for my family.
Okay. And third and final question, do you have any conflicts which would preclude you from assuming this position immediately?
No, I do not.
Okay. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Okay. Next candidate is Shauna Oglin. Hi, please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Shauna Oglin, and I reside at 3223 Burlington here in Butte, Montana.
Okay. First question, please describe what makes you the best and most qualified candidate for this position.
Thank you for the question, Chairman. What makes me the best candidate for this position is I have been a paralegal for 30 years. I have both legal experience and office management experience. I'll start with what my legal experience would bring. I have trial experience, including multiple jury trials, the most recent of which was in the last month. I'm familiar with the jury process from start to finish. I've even served on a jury as the foreperson. I have extensive knowledge of civil, criminal, family law, probate, guardianships, conservatorships, and quiet title actions. I'm familiar with and can research the Montana Code Annotated. And I know and have worked with clerks all over southwest Montana. My office management experience brings experience hiring employees. I have supervised other employees, and I've always worked well in this position. I have extensive experience with calendaring and scheduling. I've maintained a trust account and a business account, and at times our trust account was in excess of $1 million. I was responsible for all accounts receivable, accounts payable, and payroll. I am organized and detail-oriented. I have strong computer skills and technical abilities, which I believe would be very helpful in this position, as it is my understanding that the Butte District Court is upgrading to the full court enterprise program, and that will allow for electronic filing. I have experience with both the state of Montana and the federal electronic filing systems. I also have budget experience through my work on the board of directors for Butte-Silver. And I would love to be the next clerk of court.
Okay. Second question, what would you like to accomplish if you are selected for this position?
My main what I would mainly want to accomplish would be facilitating the electronic filing system. Working in the legal field for so many years, I think that is a very important next step with moving forward with the times.
Okay. And third and final question, do you have any conflicts which would preclude you from assuming this position immediately?
No, I do not.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Commissioner, would you mind if I left a resume? I had brought copies, if
Sure.
you would mind. Thank you all.
All right. Next is Beth Parks. Thank you. Hello, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Council. My name is Beth Parks, and I'm your current Chief Deputy Clerk of Court. Address is 2833 Amherst Avenue, Butte, Montana.
Okay. Please describe what makes you the best and most qualified candidate for this position.
Well, I'd say that'd have to be a combination of my experience and education. I have big shoes to fill with Tom Powers, who has over 3 decades of experience in this office. And prior to him, Lori Maloney also had decades of experience. That's one of the main reasons our office has always operated so well. I have over 3 decades of experience in the legal field and this office combined as well. So I think I would be able to make that transition very smooth for our office. In addition, we have a great staff that works well together, and they get along and they understand and know their job. So we're going to be going electronic, and I think we got the staff that can make that happen smoothly.
Okay. What would you like to accomplish if you are selected for this position?
Well, I'd like to get us up and running with e-filing. We'll get that all squared away, and once we get that settled, we do have a lot of historical records that do need to get digitized. We'll work in conjunction with the archives and other companies to make that happen so everybody has access to the great history that we have here in Butte.
Okay. And third question, do you have any conflicts which would preclude you from assuming this position immediately?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next interview is Tracy Seeger. And your name and address for the record, please.
Tracy Seeger, 620 South Montana Street, Butte.
All right, first question. Please describe what makes you the best and most qualified candidate for this position.
Well, I have a wide range of experience in my background. I've done tons of work with customer service and working with outside customers with the Boeing company, aircraft customers. Lots of, I'm self-motivated, I'm very intuitive, just able to deal with, from what I understand, sometimes the public can come at you a little hard sometimes, and I've been very good at
Oh, the microphone's off. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. What would you like to accomplish if you are selected for this position?
I am excited about the opportunity to be able to work in this environment. I believe that this opens the door for a very opportunistic type of future. This is a appointment that is open for election at the end of December 2024. Is that my understanding?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is a future that I have looked into and am excited to pursue.
Okay. And third and final question, do you have any conflicts which would preclude you from assuming this position immediately?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Jake Sorge. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Jacob Soyich, 1018 Antimony, apartment number D, here in Butte.
Okay. First question, please describe what makes you the best and most qualified candidate for this position.
Yeah, I feel that I'm the most best and qualified person for this position because I have similar experience throughout my career that I've done. I have worked as a reporter and as a someone who's handled personal identifiable information as a healthcare, how would I put it, a health insurance navigator. So I have experience in handling private information, and I also have experience dealing with public information and kind of as a record keeper myself as a journalist.
What would you like to accomplish if you were selected for this position?
Yeah, well, I look at this position, you're a curator of public records. So you're not working, they're not your records, they're the records of Butte and of the people. So I think I would like to accomplish this to kind of make this position a position for Butte, for the people. You're helping people access information, you're trying to keep public information public and private information private, but you're also working for the public. It's not you, you're working for the public, so I want to make that very clear what I'm doing, and that I would be able to do that effectively.
Okay. Do you have any conflicts which would preclude you from assuming this position immediately?
Any conflicts as far as?
Other jobs, or maybe you're going to Cancun in a couple?
Okay.
I don't know.
I wish I was. No, I do have a job, but no, it wouldn't be. It would be, the standard 2-week notice.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's our candidates. So now what we'll do is the last page of your packet, there's a line for your first candidate and second candidate. Please choose your top two and fold it. We'll hand it to County Attorney, our acting clerk today. So yeah, let's do that right now. Question, Commissioner Mankins. Yeah, we can just, oh, there we go.
Ready? Let me just read them. Okay. Chairman Frederickson, we have 1 vote for Beth Parks, 1 vote for Shauna Oglin. One vote for Beth Parks, 1 vote for Shauna Oglin. Shauna Oglin, no second vote. 1 vote for Shauna Oglin, 1 vote for Beth Parks. One vote for Beth Parks, one vote for Shauna Oglin. One vote for Shauna Oglin, one vote for Beth Parks. One vote for Beth Parks, one vote for Shauna Oglin. One vote for Shauna Oglin, one vote for Beth Parks. One vote for Beth Parks, one vote for Shauna Oglin. One vote for Shauna Oglin, one vote for Beth Parks. And one vote for Beth Parks and one vote for Shauna Oglin.
Okay. So our top two are Beth Parks and Shauna Oglin. I want to thank everyone for going through this process and applying for the position. We really appreciate it. And I know it's not easy coming up here to council. I had to go through this process, and it's hard. So I appreciate you all for applying. All right, so we have our top two. Now I'll ask commissioners on that piece of paper that has the final ballot and your name on it, so we know we're going to have to keep track of who you picked on this one. So everyone has their. Okay, so let's. Yeah, the name's on the top. Yep.
Commissioner Shea voted for Parks. Commissioner Thatcher, Parks. Commissioner Fisher, Beth Parks. Commissioner Fortune, Oglin. Commissioner O'Neill, Parks. Commissioner Frederickson, Parks. Commissioner Reardon, Parks. Commissioner Anderson, Oglin. Commissioner Callahan, Parks. Commissioner Mankins, Oglin. And Commissioner Walker, Oglin.
Okay, we have selected Beth Parks as our next clerk of the district court. Thank you, Ms. Oglin. Really appreciate you applying. At this point, I will hand it over to the chief executive up here so he can. Okay, well, all right. Is that okay? Okay. Well, I need to make the motion, so I didn't know, but. Well, I need to make the motion. Yeah. Okay, great, thank you.
Commissioner Frederickson.
Okay, thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. At this time, I would move to appoint Beth Parks to fill the seat of Clerk of District Court.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Beth Parks as the new clerk of court. Is there anything on the question? Seeing none, could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay,
1 abstain.
1 abstain.
All right, 11 yea, 0 nay, 1 abstaining. Motion passes. Will you please come up, Ms. Parks? And I'd like to congratulate you.
Thanks for the opportunity, and I hope to fill some big shoes here.
Okay.
So, thank you.
All right. Now I'll ask the chief executive to adjourn his meeting.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This special meeting is adjourned.
All right. Thank you, everyone. So now we'll move into a call to order the Butte-Silver Bowl Council of Commissioners Committee of the Whole meeting for Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. Clerk, can we have roll call, please?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I guess we have to check. Well, commissioners, will you check in? Sorry.
No.
One presiding, 11 present.
One presiding and 11 presents. All right. So we've already done the prayer and the pledge, so we'll move on to public comments on any items on the agenda for this Committee of the Whole meeting. Okay, seeing none. Report of the chair. I just want to thank everyone for going through that selection and appreciate all the work the commissioners do in putting in and selecting these candidates. There's a lot that goes into it. So the only report of the chairs, I just wanted to ask the chief executive if we could get an update on the where we're at with the EPA and the health department and coming up here. We've been getting it. There was a health board meeting this morning, and I know that it was asked. So.
Chairman Frederickson, I do not have a date yet to report on that, but I will follow up in the morning.
Okay.
So, okay.
Okay. Great. Thank you. I know I figured, but people are asking, so I wanted to get it out into the,
Nope. Thanks, Chairman.
Okay. And so yeah, we're moving on to presentation communication number 2023-294. Ed Hurd, Recreation Events Coordinator, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a presentation on June 14th, 2023 by Nick Chapman of the Skyhawk Sports Academy. Mr. Hurd.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson, Commissioners. I will like to introduce Nick Chapman. Nick has come from Spokane this afternoon. He's the Northwest Regional Director of the Skyhawk Sports Academy, which puts on 6 camps here in Butte for our youth, starting next Monday. Actually, their camp starting next Monday. Nick is here to explain a few of his programs, the benefits that our kids in this town get from the programs, and actually some of the benefits that Butte-Silver Bowl sees from the camps. So I'd like to introduce Nick Chapman.
All right. Mr. Chapman, thank you, and I appreciate you sitting through our special meeting. When this was, your presentation was scheduled, we didn't have this, so, and I appreciate you coming all the way from Spokane and sitting through that, so I hope it wasn't.
No problem.
Okay.
It's all
Thank
part
you.
of the job.
It's all yours.
Thank you. My name is Nick Chapman. Thank you, everybody, for having me today. Hopefully you have all the packets in front of you. I'm just going to go through some bullet points and hit some main things. But yeah, just a little bit on Skyhawks for those that you don't know. It originated out of Spokane, Washington, out of Gonzaga University. Started out as just some summer camps through the soccer program, and then 49 or 50, close to 50 years later, we are across the country. On page 2, you can see our footprint across the United States. We are in pretty close to almost all the states. We're working really hard on getting to some of the ones in the middle of the United States that we're getting to. But the main goal that we do is we provide youth sports, and most of it is recreational-based sports to kids in the community, ages 6 to 12. We have a brand called Super Tots that's 18 months to 5 years old. So most of it range from 18 months to about 5th grade. That's kind of our main demographic. We do a little bit in middle school. We've got a couple programs that we run up to 14 years old, 15 years old for that middle school gap. So we do partner with a couple middle schools here and there. Our primary bread and butter is the summer youth sports camps. So think of those Monday through Friday, 9 to noon or 9 to 3 o'clock sports camps. Here in Butte and several other places we do have where we run our sports curriculum and camps in the morning, and then they go to the aquatic center in the afternoon, so the kids have a fun summertime when it gets hot in the afternoon, and our staff take them to the pool and have a good time there. So that's what we do. Our partners that we work with, our mentality that we go into it is very much that these are the programs for the cities. Whoever we partner with, those are their programs. So I don't come in and say, hey, this is what we do and I just need facilities, please get out of my way. I work very closely with the parks directors, both Ed and Bob, and we basically look at what do we think is going to be good in the community, what do they want to see ran, what sports are good, and we work around maybe other camps in the community that are being ran. So I don't run a soccer camp if there's a local club that's running a soccer camp and so on. So I work really closely with the parks departments to make sure that we're running what they want to run, and I'm purely here to be able to provide the operations. So you can see there in page kind of 3 and 4 here, really what we provide. So on the left-hand page, we have all the sports that we provide. Our main ones that we offer that are really big are always basketball, soccer, and then for those ages of 4 to 7 in the summertime is our mini hawk camp. That one is much more of a kind of a sports sampler, if you will, for those 4 to 7-year-olds. It's a half-day program, and it's a way for the kids to get out and start working on development skills, start working on social emotional skills, and being able to be in a bit more of a 3-hour camp setting where their parents aren't there and aren't necessarily involved. So it gets those 4, 5, and 6-year-olds a little bit more involved and gets them ready to be able to do more full-day camps and stuff. We offer, you can see there, basketball, baseball, volleyball, football, golf. We've got some lacrosse. We do a variety of those specialty sports between golf, track and field, and tennis. And again, those are just whatever the parks departments want to bring into our different communities and what they think the communities will sign up for and register for. The things that we bring, what we bring as far as Skyhawks, because we have a national footprint, we do have different departments that work on things like staffing. We have a broad insurance policy, so we bring our insurance into the community, so we're covered there. All of our staff have to go through training. They're all first aid certified. They're all background checked. Most all of our staff that come in have some sort of athletic experience, whether it's varsity high school, whether it's collegiate experience. Those are the ones that we're targeting to come and be able to provide coaching for our campers. We also have a marketing department, and then we have a whole department that works on our curriculum. So it's not we're just sending our coaches out into the grass and saying, hey, good luck. We have full schedules, full curriculum. We talk to our coaches. We train our coaches on what to do and what they should be doing. So it's my job to make sure that that's being brought out to the broader spectrum of our coaches. So all those things is what we bring. So we will go to communities like here in Butte, where we can partner with you guys, and what we do is then we provide the hiring of the staffing. We have all the staff that we go out and search for and find the staff. We create and have all the marketing stuff that we give to the parks department to then put out into the community. So a lot of these processes that happen to be able to run youth sports are done on our end through our department because we are doing that in a whole lot of other places. So for me, my job is then to manage making sure that we're providing all of those pieces at a smaller level into each community. For Montana, we are in Kalispell, Helena, Bozeman, Livingston, and then here in Butte. And then I'm working on getting into Missoula and then also into Billings, into Great Falls is kind of my next step for the next year. So I've been in this position for this is my 3rd year, I believe, with you guys. Yep, 3rd year. I started on that my first year in. They kind of gave me Montana as well as I was doing all of Eastern Washington. So I've stepped up into a regional role. So we have area managers below me now. I'm still overseeing all of Montana. I've actually really loved it. So I asked them to not hire somebody because I'd like to continue to manage it. I love the staff out here. I've really enjoyed getting to know all the different parks directors in the different cities. So while we have area managers that are taking over and I'm overseeing in different areas, I've kept Montana on for that purpose. The next page, if you go through, a couple brands I want to point on is basically our Super Tots brand, which we don't currently have here in Butte. It is for ages 18 months to 5 years old, like I stated. It is really remarkable how quickly these programs go. We currently just got into Butte and also into Livingston, and the manager for that, his name is Mario Williams. He is just telling me that all of his programs are all maxed out because the families are just signing up for them. So that's the next topic for me to be able to hopefully talk with the Parks Department, is being able to get some of these super top programs going and just do a few here and there and see how it runs in our community to be able to provide some service for these 18 months to 5 years old. This is very much more of that development level. You know, they're not out there teaching everybody how to play professional soccer or basketball at the 18-month-year-old age. It's really just getting the kids out there, moving around with other kids, figuring out social emotional spaces, figuring out their spatial awareness, and then obviously having fun with playing games with either a basketball or a soccer ball or a volleyball or so on. So we do have all that curriculum base that we go from there. So all the standards that we have for Skyhawks are all implied in with this Super Tots program that we run as well. So that's a piece we're hoping to bring on. You can see close to the final page there, we have baseball tots, first down tots, which is our football. We have hockey tots, hoopster tot, volleyball cats, and then we have cheer tots as well. So those are the offerings that we have for those younger ages. Before I get into some of the financials here specifically for Butte, I do want to quickly talk about Skyhawks Rise. So this is a new initiative that we've done. It's been about, we're getting close to a year old. It's our nonprofit branch here of Skyhawks. Our mission for Skyhawks Rise coming in is be able to bring funds and equity into communities and to areas within communities that don't have the resources to be able to pay for these kind of pay-to-play or week-long camps. It's not just to offset the week-long camps, it's also to be able to bring in free programming into either after schools or bring free programming into some camps. So some examples that I have is in Spokane. We did get a grant fund that we worked with the Spokane City Park and Rec, and we ran 3 weeks of free soccer programs into parks where we don't offer Skyhawks, into communities that don't necessarily, the families can't pay for our $189 or $200 a week camps. So we were able to secure some funding. Our executive director, Chelsea Hawley, she was able to find some funding and some grant funds. She wrote the grant, and that's what her job is she works with communities on finding those fundings. She goes through and writes those grants and then being able to bring in and seeing how we can implement those grants into different communities. So that's what we try to do in Skyhawks. I have my foot a little bit in that arm as well. So I help a lot with Chelsea. We are actually flying down to Colorado Springs next week to do a big, it's called Day of Play. It's our second one that we're going to be doing, and it's a free 3-hour sports event on a Saturday. So we're doing it in Colorado Springs. We have about 150 kids that are signed up with it so far. And what we're hoping to do is bring these events into communities in different ways. And so being able to bring a Day of Play Montana into somewhere out here is kind of a goal of ours to be able to do. And what we do is we basically provide the funding. We bring in all the equipment. We bring in our staff. We do basically all the operations and legwork, and then get the word out to the community that we're having a free 3-hour ability for kids to be able to sign up. So those are some of the ways that we as Skyhawks are starting to get out and be able to provide sports and make it more equitable, and not just be able to have it be for whoever can afford our camps. That we're trying to make sure we're bridging that gap to be able to make sports accessible for everybody. So that's what Skyhawks Rise is about, and it's definitely something that I'm really excited to be able to bring out into Montana and work a little bit more. The last couple of pages, just very briefly, just to show you some financials of what we've done here in Butte the last couple of years. The first page is just a quick and simple, just basically a registration counts. We have 2021 was our first year with 73 total registrations. 2022, we bump up to 113, and currently right now, before we've even started any of our programs, we're sitting at about 44. I just looked before we came in, we're actually at 47 now. So registrations keep trickling in as people get the word out. Here I found the trend is usually the first couple of weeks are a little low, word of mouth gets out, and then it starts to pick up a little bit. So our camps are usually around that 7 or 8 kids, and by the end of the summer, you can see here we've got 13, 11, 9 as we're finishing up. Last year was kind of the same thing with our numbers. So hopefully those trends continue to happen this year as we go forward. The last page is just more of the transparency of the finances of it. So you can see there just in the grid, the graphs on the left from 2021 to 2023, what we grossed over here. And then below that, you can see what the commission was that was paid out to the Park and Rec. We do have a 20% commission split with the Park and Rec, and that is off of the gross registration. It's not off of the net. And so that's what we immediately will take. 20% of every registration goes to the Parks Department. And then on the left here, the grid that you can see is just every single program that we ran in the last 3 years and how much each one of them grossed and how much the Parks Department got off the commission off of that. So obviously, in the gross, what we provide is we then provide that. It pays for all the staffing, pays for all the equipment, pays for all of the management and working and providing and getting the registrations and the back end of being able to operate those camps. So that's what I have for Skyhawks. I've really enjoyed being here for 3 years and especially getting to know the Parks Department and working with you. It's been very seamless and to be honest, it's been one of the easiest places I've been able to work with so far. So any questions at all?
Thank you. That's great. This is a great summary of what you guys do. You know, you've been here a few years, and I mean, the last year the numbers are great. The financials, I appreciate you showing us all this, and I don't have any questions, but Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here. It's really great. I love that that this is available and so well organized. You were talking about the Skyhawks Rise, the nonprofit arm for the scholarships. Is there anything in place for the Butte community yet for those scholarships?
As far as grant funding right now, no. That's something that we would do as Chelsea continues to look and seek for different places. We do right now, we actually work with Livingston Links, so the Links program, which is a service. I think there's a Links program in every county. So we just started working with them last year. They provide services for the schools, so after school and through the summer, and they reached out to us and asked us if we would operate 2 weeks of sports for their kids that are already their caseloads in their school. So we do 2 weeks. We do one at the beginning of the summer and one at the end of the summer, so it kind of bookends when school's out and right before school starts. And I'm researching right now to see if that program or that funding is in every single county. I just don't know enough about the Livingston Links. They reached out to us last year, and then this is the second year they're doing it. So as I learn more a little bit about what's available in different counties, and that's what Chelsea's helping me with. The only thing that really truly is available is just that families can reach out to us for financial assistance. We don't have like a large pool of money to be able to have for financial assistance. It's more of a case by case, where then I can also talk with the Parks Department, and let's say we get to 16 staff. My 2 staff can house up to 20 to 21 kids. So if we get to 16 or 17, sometimes I'll give them a call and be like, hey, do you guys have 3 kids or a family that may want to slide some kids in? And then we can work with them about just giving them a 50% off discount. Or sometimes I've slid in kids for free if they call me. Like I know I do this in Livingston. Maggie will call me and be like, hey, Nick, I really have a family of like 5 that could really use something. And so we'll give them, and also to make those maxes work, then we'll slide some in. So there's things like that where I'll be able to work with families, but we do have a financial aid process where they can call in, fill out the financial aid report, and then our Skyhawks Rise department looks at those, and then we'll issue scholarships based on what those families are needing.
Okay, follow up.
Follow up, Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That sounds great. As you know, Butte has a fairly high level of poverty, and I think that these types of programs can really help children who are in not great conditions, I really like the idea of there being some financial assistance available. I would like to see maybe Butte-Silver Bow push out the way we do with our swimming season passes, where members of the community will oftentimes donate a season pass. So they're just there for people to apply for, and I would hope that we could get some information from you and kind of figure out a way to just push that out, just purely voluntarily. It wouldn't even need to be a formal program, but I know I would like to donate one camp to somebody, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there that are listening that would like to do that too.
Yeah, I do know. So this fall, we're going to a new registration system on the back end that we're all in anticipation for this, because we're going to be able to start doing things exactly where there is a way for families, if they register, they can like pay for another camp to then support somebody else to come in. So we're doing a lot of that stuff. Our current system doesn't allow us to do a lot. There's also going to be a system on there where families can then could do what's the word I'm looking for? Pay like a monthly, so they can basically, instead of having to pay everything up front, because that's one barrier that we're finding as being pretty significant, is that if a family wants to pay for like 3 weeks, but they have to pay that all up front when they sign up in the summer. So there's options to be able to allow them to pay that over the summer versus having to pay that, you know, like $500 up front that they don't have in their monthly budgets. So we're having some things like that that we're really excited about. Yep.
Love it, thank you.
Yeah, Chief Executive Gallagher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson, and Nick, thank you for being here today. You know, I engaged in conversations with you guys back when I was a Parks Director, and I'm just happy to see where the program's come and that it actually, what a benefit that is to our recreation programming here in Butte-Silver Bowl, because that's one of the things that we lack. Is we don't really have a recreation program for kids that is ran by the Parks Department, and so it filled a void that we had here locally that a lot of other communities are able to do that. So it filled the void for what we could offer with that. So you know, I would offer that we can work with that to do that. I'm kind of committing our Parks Department, but I think we can work with Director Lazary and with our recreation coordinator, Ed Hurd, on maybe pushing something out through our social media, asking for donations that may, even though you guys may not be able to facilitate that online, that maybe that people donate and then we pay you for that. So I think that's something we can do, but I'm very happy with the progress that has happened. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I know that your staff and the people that you've hired locally have done a good job, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you very much, Chairman Frederickson. Let me see if I have this on right. Thank you very much for being here today. I appreciate it. Just a couple comments and then a question. I noticed some printing errors your printer was having on the Skyhawks page. So when you look at those first two paragraphs, they're kind of double printed on that and some typos. So you'll want to get those fixed for your next one. But anyway, I was looking at the camps that you offered in Butte, and I did not see basketball. But when I see where you do offer basketball, I figured that we don't have any public basketball courts in our community. So I was wondering if you don't offer that, or if that's something you'd have to go into the schools and talk to the schools with a little bit.
Yeah, so
on that, or how we could. I know there's a huge basketball culture growing everywhere, and it just seems like more opportunity for the kids. And personally, I always loved hoops. My kids love hoops, so.
yeah. No, that's actually a great question. So we don't offer a straight basketball program. So in our multi-sport that you see on there, I just deleted what the specific sports were. But if you look on, this is just a page for our offerings. We do offer a multi-sport one where we do basketball, soccer, and volleyball in a week.
Okay.
And the biggest thing is that the basketball courts are on the tennis courts. So we don't necessarily have access to those all the time down by the aquatic center. So there wasn't any, if I remember correctly, there wasn't any direct, just specific basketball court. So we didn't want to have to take up the tennis courts to the public all the time. But we do have that 1 week where we do utilize those, which is great. And then we also run our mini hawk program, that 4 to 7 year olds. That is baseball, basketball, and soccer. So we do have two kind of basketball options, just no straight. But I know for me, I would be thrilled if I could get help to talk with the school districts to be able to get some programs started either after school or to be able to utilize some of the facilities at the schools, because that's where we found the most participation is when we can get into the schools. The kids that can come from the communities and come to those schools, that's when we find the greatest impact on registrations, because then now they're not reliant on having to get a ride all the way over to whatever park we're at. So we do utilize some of those facilities as well.
Thank you.
Yep. And then one last comment I do have, I forgot to mention this, is we do run year-round programs as well. It's something that I've been talking with Ed and Bob about, as far as is evening and after-school offerings also. So that's one thing that we offer outside of just summer, being able to have programs. And they're usually, those are more of, think of like once a week, about 50, 55-minute sort of practices of the sport. So they're more working on the skill development. And so it's much more, not quite the fun summer camp piece of it. It's a little bit more of that more designed to that skill building, kind of once a week classes for about 6 to 7 weeks. So they get a bit more focus on the actual sports that we're offering during that school year. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Any other questions? Okay.
I just have a comment, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Thank you,
Commissioner
Chairman
O'Neill.
Ferguson. I just want to say my kids did have the opportunity to do this a couple times, and they have a Skyhawks football that's definitely been bounced around our house in vehicles all around the state of Montana. So it's definitely, I'm glad that the kids of Butte get the opportunity to have something to do like that. It's a good deal. So appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you again for coming. Okay, moving to section 2, communications. Communication number 2023-310, Sean Frederickson, Council Chair, requesting council conduct interviews for the position of the Clerk of District Court at the Committee of the Whole meeting on June 14th, 2023. Following the interviews, council will vote to fill the upcoming vacancy. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Because we made the appointment during the special meeting to appoint Beth Parks to be the clerk of the district court, at this time I would make a motion to cross-reference communication number 2023-310 with communication number 2023-311 and place this communication on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Can commissioners vote? Is it ready? Okay. Vote. Clerk, will you record the vote?
12 yea, 0 nay.
12 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. 2, communication number 2023-291, Kristen Rosa, Economic Development Coordinator, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization of tax abatement under MCA 15-24-1402, a 10-year tax abatement for the construction of a new manufacturing facility in the Montana Connection Business Park. We're going to hold this, but I would ask the Chief Executive if he has an update on the committee.
Chairman Frederickson, I do not, as I left town right after our meeting last week when we kind of did this, but I will follow up with Kristen Rosa.
Yeah,
about
and
this
maybe I have a little bit more, but I wanted to refer you to, it sounds like they're going to be meeting this week, and the communication will be with a recommendation back to this body for the regular meeting next week.
Yeah, that I will follow up tomorrow. I was in a training all day today, and so wasn't able to communicate with her today, but I'll talk to her first thing in the morning.
Okay, thank you. 3, communication number 2023-300, Mark Neary, Public Works Director, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for June 21st, 2023 for Water Main Materials Project 2023. We will hold that for the meeting next week. Jim Keenan, 4, communication number 2023-306, Jim Keenan, BSB Water Treatment Supervisor, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for June 21st, 2023 for supplying installation services for the inline self-cleaning filters to be installed in the Tiffid pump station. We will hold that for the bid opening next week. And that's it on our agenda.
Wow.
Thanks again, commissioners. Is there anything that anyone wants to discuss? Commissioner Anderson. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Public comment on any public matter not on the agenda. Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. Seeing none, I will now ask for, if anything, commissioners want to talk about. Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Just to remind everybody, East-West Shrine Game in Butte this week. Activities start tomorrow sometime. Lots of things going on. A lot of people come to town. Upkeep of our city looks good, so just letting everybody know that great event.
Yeah, thanks for that, Commissioner Fisher. We also have Uptown Hoops is going on all weekend. So Uptown's going to be the place to be. It always is the place to be, but there's going to be a lot of activities going on. Commissioner Anderson.
I doubt anybody in Denver will hear this, but as a lifelong Nuggets fan, Monday was an excellent day with Nikolai Jokic winning the first NBA championship there.
All right.
Hopefully the Uptown Hoops will be nearly as fun.
Yeah. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion and do we have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thanks again.